Tonight, a federal lawmaker responds to an investigation that exposed why thousands of homeless parents and their children are not eligible for federal housing dollars that could provide them a more stable place to live.
His candid answer when we asked him if change is coming and why critics say changing the definition is not the answer. Katie LaGrone investigates.
Ask any homeless advocate about the current state of homelessness in America.
It's crept into the middle class.
We're seeing more families that are two-parent families.
It hasn't gotten any better, and potentially we see signs of things actually getting worse.
Which may be all the more reason to question why thousands of homeless parents and their children are still unable to access certain federal dollars to help them find more stable homes.
It would be a simple fix.
And according to this federal lawmaker who represents Florida,
I just don't see it moving.
It's likely not going to change anytime soon.
I really hope that I'm wrong, but I've been following this for 5 years and haven't seen any practical attention to this issue yet.
U.S. Congressman Bill Posey is talking about a problem plaguing homeless families for years. So this boils down to a definition.
Yes, absolutely. HUD only recognizes those folks who are literally living on the street or are living in shelters as having met their definition for homelessness.
Laura Tucker is the homeless liaison for Hillsborough County Schools, where more than half of students identified as homeless by the district are not living in a shelter or on the streets, but in some kind of shared housing, which makes them ineligible for certain HUD funding.
Any parent will tell you they would choose that as opposed to living on the side of the road or in the woods, or even in a shelter.
As a parent, are you comfortable having your kids live on the streets or in a shelter?
No.
Such is the case for Marquita Ingram.
It's something I fight hard to not have to, I don't want my kids in that.
As a result, she and her 3 children have called this hotel home for the past 6 months.
Makes me feel like I failed my kids, in a sense. Even though I know I couldn't control it, but I feel that way sometimes.
Homelessness is not something that's on the radar every day, but it's a massive, massive problem.
In 2017, Posey co-sponsored legislation that would redefine HUD's definition of homelessness to better align with other government agencies, including the Department of Education, which does consider children who live in hotels or shared housing homeless and eligible for other services. It failed to pass. This year, similar bipartisan legislation has been introduced in both the House and Senate, but Posey isn't putting his money on change because HUD isn't pushing it.
It's a monolithic agency who just doesn't want to make any change in procedure because it might be inconvenient.
If we just flood the system with more families that have a place to stay, even though it's not perfect by any means, I don't think that's going to really help.
But critics, including the CEO for the National Alliance to End Homelessness, believe the answer to helping more families isn't in changing a definition.
What we need for these families is more affordable housing.
But numbers.
We're 7 million units short in the country of enough affordable housing for the low-income households that need it. That's what drives the homelessness problem. And putting people into shelter, if there even is shelter for them to go into, is not going to solve that problem.
That's basically it.
Until she can find affordable housing, this mom plans to stay put with her children in a hotel room, counting down the days.
Hoping with maybe a couple more months, hopefully, if I can find something. It's just been kind of hard.
In Tampa, Katie LaGrone, Fox 4.